Hey everyone, welcome to today's PCCS EmPower Hour. My name is Alyssa D'Agosto,
My name is Kevin Roman.
and we're here today with two very special guests to talk about the Excluded Worker Fund, also known as the EWF, so people can hear the acronym, you know what we're talking about. But before we get started, Kevin, how are you today?
I am great. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was good. I went to the Richmond County Fair. We went to the Richmond County Fair to
That's
represent
right.
PCCS, so that was a lot of fun.
That's right. That's right. It was really great to connect with a lot of people. There was a great turnout, even though it looked like it was a little rainy for a minute there, but we got a lot of people out there. Got to link up with some people in the community. So that was a lot of fun. Shout out to the Staten Island Zoo, who has like the most interesting things. They have like canvases painted by otters and stuff. It's very cool.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, it's
That's
very
awesome.
cool. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to us hopefully for next year being at the next year's Richmond County Fair.
Absolutely. Same here. Or actually, I was really excited when I was talking to a few people at the table. We were talking about our upcoming flea market on September 18th.
Yes, there was a lot of traction about that flea
There
market.
sure was,
Absolutely.
and we were talking about the fact that, like, it's nice to be able to go outside and connect with people and really just be able to, feel normal again, you know, and have some activities and giveaways, so it was really cool, so we're looking forward to that, so shameless plug to those who are watching, please join us at our flea market on September 18th to celebrate our direct support professionals for DSP Week.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a thank you to Historic Richmond Town for having us at their delightful event.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, well, this was fun. We got to do this more often.
We
Um,
gotta talk more often. Nice.
I
Wow.
think so. I think so. So, with that said, I'm going to have our two guests who are spearheading the Excluded Worker Fund, Jovanella Stewart and Nisha Tumber. They are here with us today. Hey,
Hey
ladies.
guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you. Jovanella, you are usually behind the screen. So it's really nice to see you up front and, it's forward facing and all the good stuff.
I'm happy to be here.
Great. So, Nisha Tumber, you are the director of special initiatives here at PCCS, and Jovanella, so you are our outreach specialist here at PCCS, correct? Great. Cool. So guys, can you talk a little bit about what you do and kind of like diving into the nitty-gritty of what the Excluded Worker Fund is?
Let's get right into it.
For sure. I'll go ahead and start. So my name is Nisha Tumber. I am the Director of Special Initiatives. And one special initiative that we have going on at Person-Centered Care Services is the Excluded Worker Fund. So PCCS has recently partnered with the Department of Labor to educate workers across New York, including our very lovely DSPs on Staten Island, about the Excluded Worker Fund. So just a little bit about the Excluded Worker Fund. It is a $2.1 billion fund that was allocated by the Department of Labor to ensure that workers who did not receive unemployment, regardless of immigration status, regardless of documentation, regardless of whether or not you were off the books, on the books, New York, the Department of Labor rather, wants to ensure that everyone who qualifies for the Excluded Worker Fund hears what it's about. So if you did not qualify for unemployment, we are looking for you. We want to ensure that you learn about it, that you know what it's about, and that you can apply for it and you have the assistance necessary to apply for it. So for DSPs specifically, you guys have been particularly impacted by the health and economic crisis faced by communities during the pandemic, and you haven't been able to access government programs that were developed in response to COVID-19. So again, like unemployment. So when we talk about unemployment and receiving unemployment services, a lot of people may not have qualified because you received a cut in your hours. So you were still technically working, your business was still open, your agency was still open, so you were working, but your hours were cut. And for the Excluded Worker Fund, they're saying that, hey, if you didn't qualify for unemployment because you lost hours of work, let's help you out. Let's ensure that you receive the assistance necessary to apply. And in order to apply, I'm going to pass this on to Jovanella. She's going to discuss a little bit about the documentation needed and what qualifies you to receive this funding.
Thank you, Nisha. So in order to apply, the documentation that you'll need to be able to prove your residency in the state of New York, as well as your work history. So you need to just be able to give your hours if you were worked 15 hours or less, and then also just proof of identification, like needed to just prove everything. And then there will also be a tier system as well for how much you could be eligible for. So starting at tier 1, you could be able to receive $15,000, and then tier 2, if you don't meet all of the qualifications, you could receive $3,200.
Perfect. And so to really qualify for the EWF, you have to have not been eligible for and not received any unemployment during the COVID-19 pandemic. You have to have lived in New York before the pandemic, so prior to March 27, 2020, and you must currently live in New York State. And the most important thing for this fund, in order to qualify, you must have an income of less than $26,000 and $201. So very specific, but that's a really, really big part of this fund. You have to have had an income, again, of less than $26,201. And to apply, you have to have demonstrated. So now when we're talking about the qualifications and the proof of documentation, you have to have demonstrated that you worked and received compensation for at least 15 hours a week prior to the pandemic. And prior to the pandemic, you have to have worked for a period greater than 6 weeks. So again, you have to, prior to the pandemic, you have to have worked for at least 6 weeks, and you have to have at least worked 15 hours a week. And in order to prove, I'm sorry, Jovanella, did you want to say something?
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. So to apply for it, again, you have to have lost at least 50% of your weekly work-related earnings or household income anytime between, I believe it was February 3rd or 23rd to April 1st due to total or partial unemployment. And this could be due to the pandemic or the death of the head of your household. So there are various, so the Department of Labor, again, if you are unsure if you qualify, there's no harm in just trying to qualify, because they are really trying to ensure that anyone and everyone hears about this fund, number one, and number two, that there's no harm in applying. Because the worst that they can tell you is, no, we're not going to give you the money. So if you think you might qualify, reach out to Jovanella. If you know you qualify, reach out to Jovanella. If you have a couple of questions, reach out to Jovanella, and she can definitely assist you in whichever way you need, and definitely help clarify any questions that you might have.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pass it again. Sorry, Jovanella, I'm going to pass it to you again, just to talk about the documents that you need in order to apply. So I'm going to briefly speak about it. But for the documents, you need to show proof of identity, proof of residency, and proof of work-related eligibility. So now when we talk about identity, residency, we're obviously talking about an ID, but it gets a little more trickier when we talk about work-related eligibility, because you essentially have to prove that you did work prior to the pandemic, and or that you lost hours due to the pandemic.
So within the to be eligible for the specific tiers, there is a point system. So to be able to allocate those points is how you prove with the proper documentation. So for identity, that is a ID, as Nisha said. It could be a non-expired passport, a photo ID of any kind. And then as far as residency, like Nisha said, you have to prove that you have lived in New York State and you currently live here now. And then you can also include pay stubs. You're able to upload these documents into the application using a PDF. You can even, if you do it on your phone, upload a picture, whatever's easiest for you. And they will also take your tax returns as well as a form of documentation. And that way you'll be able to prove the work history that they're looking for.
Yeah, so for example, if you don't hold a New York State ID, or you don't have a non-driver ID card, we have I believe they're called the NYC ID cards. So you could definitely utilize that. If you have a military ID card, if you have any type of US passport, those will definitely be proper forms of identification. And then when we talk about proof of residency, again, if you have a New York State driver license or any type of ID card, that'd be fabulous, because that could definitely help you out. But if you don't have any of those, we can take federal taxes and or any form of utility bill that has an address on it and it has your name on it. So again, the possibilities are endless with this one. So if you find that, you know, I don't have this, I don't have that, Jovanella and I can definitely help you find whatever it is you need to ensure that you qualify and can apply for this fund successfully. And for the proof of work eligibility, and I'm going to speak about this a little briefly, if you find that you don't, if you worked off the books, for example, the Department of Labor stated in the eligibility requirements that you can provide documentations from your employer that simply state that this worker worked X amount of hours prior to the pandemic. Due to the pandemic, the agency or whatever it was had to shut down, the business had to shut down. And this is proof that the worker is, this worker qualifies for the fund. Alyssa, any questions? I'm kind of like,
I mean, you guys threw a lot of info at us, and it
Yeah.
seems to me that this fund has really has given so much opportunity for people to see that they may very well be qualified and not even know it. So it really is great, and it's great that you two are working so closely together on this project to see, you know, to help the community in so many ways, because really COVID had created
Tier one,
such a barrier for so many people.
$600 pre-taxes.
Little tidbit thrown out there, all right?
Love it. So yeah, I really can't, I'm really thankful to even be able to talk to you guys and be able to share this news, you know, with the community. So I do know that there are a lot of documents and a lot of things that are kind of going into it that people are going to have to maybe do a little bit of research on their own to see. So that I hear that we heard checklists and applications and all that good stuff. Where can we find this?
So as soon as we finish our EmPower Hour episode, the webpage will be live on PCCS's website, and it will be Excluded Worker Fund, and you'll be able to find all the information. There is an interest form, so that lets Nisha and myself know that you're interested, and then we'll be able to reach out with more information. And then there's also a checklist so that you can do a little bit of the work yourself just to know if you have the documents needed. And then there's also the link to apply.
Awesome. So really everything is all in one shot. So if anybody that's watching this that says, hey, I'm not 100% sure where to even begin, where should I go? First stop should be our website.
And I would love to add that tonight at 7 p.m., PCCS is hosting an info session on the Excluded Worker Fund, where we will be diving into it a little more. We could talk more about proper documentation, the tier system that we briefly spoke about, because that can be a little difficult to understand. And we would love to see you guys there. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to register there. And from that from that info session, we can set up one-on-one Zoom meetings to discuss about the fund further, and we can help you apply for it. So we're here hands-on to help support you guys in whichever capacity that you guys need in order to apply for the fund.
Oh wow, you guys are thorough, huh?
Yeah, we are. We're trying.
I love that.
I think
it's really great.
I think that's so awesome. I think a lot of people, when they hear like department of something, they're afraid of having to talk to an automated system. You guys are really making it so personal, and really even just scheduling one-on-one calls with a person to really guide them through it. And I think that that's just so incredible, you know, to see you guys doing such great work. And just to clarify, the info session that is tonight is a live session. So you will be there to be able to answer questions, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. That's great to hear too. But yeah, I think this is all really great info, and we really hope to have you come back and give us some updates on all the people that were eligible and got all the money that's out there. And I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to meet with us and talk about it. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the info session tonight.
Absolutely. DSPs, check out this info session. Don't leave the money on the table. Secure the bag. I'm telling you.
Yes.
There's these little loopholes. I'm telling you, you gotta
You never know.
catch these loopholes. You know, you might not have been unemployed, but your hours got cut. This is where the money is. So definitely check it out, guys.
And
That's
on
my
that
personal anecdote, speaking directly to the audience.
On that note, I want to thank you both again so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure seeing you. And Jovanella, we're so happy to have your debut today in front of the camera instead of behind the scenes.
Love it.
Yeah, for real. And for those who are watching, we hope you guys will tune in on Thursday with another special episode kicking off our DSP Appreciation Week with the NADSP coming back. And we are so excited because it's going to be a really great show.
Our good friend John, he's wonderful.
He's fantastic. Him and his team are great. So we're really excited to
Yes.
have them talk about their personal experiences and what they want to see for the future. So thank you guys again. And we're looking forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.